He was born prematurely. I was 30 weeks. Placenta abrupted or detached. He started losing a ton of blood. They had to rush me down for a cesarean. They had to give him right away a blood transfusion. There was an area of his brain that they were concerned about that was damaged from the blood loss. He was 3 pounds, 5 ounces when he was born. And he was having a hard time gaining weight and growing. So his heart rate would drop really low. He would stop breathing, having alerts multiple times a day. A few instances of where, the doctors and nurses had to rush in there to rescue him. I remember being at the hospital and trying to stay there with him as much as I could, but I do have other children and a 6-year-old at home. The doctors at the hospital would call me and I would see the number on the caller ID and my heart would race. And there was a day I was just telling a family member, long distance, I was just telling them, I said, every time, that phone rings, I'm always scared they're going to call and tell me he didn't make it. Maybe 10 minutes later, my phone rings and I see it's the hospital calling. And I answer the phone and the doctor is like, I have some bad news. And of course, I'm expecting the worst. My heart drops into my stomach. I'm already crying before he tells me what's wrong. But he just, he had a major event, or is what they kind of refer to it as. And they had to, rescue him. He wasn't breathing for quite some time. And, he was like, we had to call and tell you that, this had taken. It was the one day I decided to try to go home and rest. It was weighing on me like I'm just neglecting my infant newborn child that needs me there. And and it was at the point my 6-year-old was crying, like, Mom, you keep leaving. We don't want you to go. Oh, it's all about the baby now. And she was having a hard time understanding that, he was needing a lot of nurturing. So there were a lot of things that he went through. He was in there for 2 months. And for that last month, I told my kids I need to be there with him day and night, because he'd always had the most major alerts or events when I wasn't there, it seemed like. So I stayed, and I stayed actually 10 days straight with him. When I went up there, I did a 3-day fast that I didn't tell anybody about. So this is my first time telling anyone. I just prayed nonstop for his health, his well-being, and I just kept praying, to get him home. For 3 days, I just fasted, nothing but water and prayer. And I stayed up there with him. And I'm telling you, it had to be the hand of God, because he just started improving. He got to the point where he was able to, he had a problem with drinking, sucking, swallowing, monitoring or controlling those functions at the same time. So he started doing that and taking bottles. And so here he is now. And he came home at 5 pounds, 7 ounces. He's a little bigger now, but he is, as you can see, he's thriving and hungry and ready for a diaper change. And I wish he would have woke up so you guys could have seen him with his eyes open. But this is my little mountain, and he is a pillar of strength.